Sure, abuti honestly.
Organizations, provinces, communities, when we are all together, then we're going to debunk this narrative that they say we are not united. We are united. These ones. Amase! Amase! We are united. Never again will they call us an ununited people. Today we've shown them. And this is the first brick that we are laying for the rest of what is to come. Amase! I'm going to read the declaration so that everybody knows what is handed over to this government. We have one member of parliament, and everybody will see that he's an MK member. We are not giving this to the MK. Yes. All the other members of parliament that are from our community, yes, had an invitation and a right to come and receive that. Yeah. This is the man that responded. We will give it to him because we have given it to all other people who are so-called white and so-called black, and nothing came from it. Yes. We will trust our own people to receive our memorandum and our declaration and keep him responsible to make sure that the right people in the so-called parliament that ignores us to get it. Here was, ladies and gentlemen, the declaration and the memorandum of demands. Be patient. It's not every day that we come here. Let us read this thing completely. Whatever is in this document, you will have access to it so that you and your children can have it. This is your declaration. This is your demand. Thank you. I think there is an important point that was noted. Because the people, onze mense wat die binnekant is, ons het hulle ingesit. And they must be accountable to the people. We've invited the Patriotic Alliance. They never showed up. Excuse me? We've invited. Hello? We've invited. I did invite. And I'm saying it because you are here. I have invited the MK party who is inside. They are here. I've invited all of them. But this is not about a political party, and I want to make that clear. This is about keeping our people responsible on the inside. Now, as far as nou opgaan. Alan Daniels is hier van die Patriotic Alliance. Listen, I'm not saying things here. Let me say this in no uncertain terms. Or the thing is to divide our people. We're here to talk the truth. Because if we can't talk the truth, 20 years from now we're going to be at the very same place. So I can hear me hard at the broad. And if the truth makes you uncomfortable, then so be it. Alright? I want to go to the declaration so we can get over the program.
The two parliamentarians stand there, so you must ask someone else to do that for you because you have to receive it. He's going to address you as the parliamentarian.
We have here with us a member of parliament, Honorable Wesley Douglas. We have another member of parliament, Marlon Daniels, Honorable Marlon Daniels. Right? These are the two people that are receiving this memorandum here today. Alright? And I'm going to read it so we all understand that. This is by me, so bear with me please. This is the reason we came here today. Yes. The Declaration of Nationhood and First Law of the Khoisan people of South Africa. We, the Khoisan people, the Aboriginal and first inhabitants of South Africa, stand today to declare that our nationhood and our law are neither inventions of the modern state nor permissions of the government. They are older, they are deeper and enduring realities. We do not plead for recognition. We do not plead for recognition. Amase! We do not plead for recognition. We are not beggars here. We are the owners of this land.
our nationhood. Amase. We affirm our law. Amase. And we assert our place as the first nation of this land. Amase. Long before colonial conquest, Khoisan law governed this land. Our law was never extinguished by conquest, colonization, apartheid, or the post-apartheid order. The Constitutional Court in Richtersveld in 2003 confirmed that our customary law has survived all onslaughts and remained valid and binding. Amase, this judgment of the Constitutional Court, which is the highest court in this country, their court, their law that they created, has affirmed our law, the first law, the law of the Khoisan. So this judgment, in substance, functions as the constitutional recognition of our law. And this is akin to the chapter 12 that the so-called Bantu and Guli people have. The Richtersveld ruling is our chapter 12. Amase. Therefore, Khoisan customary law is not a subset of South African law. It is the first law. It is the first law of the land upon which all subsequent legal systems are layered. Amase. The Khoisan are a nation. Amase. The Khoisan are a nation.
Yes.
We are not a sector of society like the LGBTQ and GBV and however they address. We are the first nation. We are the first nation.
We are the first nation.
We are a nation. A people, the Khoisan nation are a people with their own history, with their own laws, with their own identity, with their own language, and with their own cultural sovereignty. Our nationhood is not defined by apartheid fictions of the term colored. Amase. Nor by the state categorizations, but by the continuity of our heritage and our unbroken relationship to this land called South Africa. Amase. As a nation, we are not minorities to be integrated or assimilated. We are the first people of South Africa. We are the first people of South Africa. And therefore the primary inheritors of its constitutional justice. Article 1 of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People recognizes our right to self-determination. We may freely determine our political status and pursue our own economic, social, and cultural development. By international law and by historical fact, Khoisan nationhood cannot be denied. It cannot be diminished. And it cannot be deferred. We declare, and I want you to hear me now as we make a declaration today. We declare that the Khoisan nation exists in fact, in law, and in history. We declare that Khoisan law is the first law of South Africa. Still alive, still binding, and constitutionally entrenched through the Richtersveld case. We declare that our nationhood does not depend on state recognition. I want to read that again. We declare that our nationhood does not depend on state recognition. It is an inherent right confirmed by both constitutional jurisprudence and international law. We declare and proclaim that the Khoisan nation shall govern itself in accordance with its own customary law and institutions, not their institutions. And this is in peaceful coexistence with the democratic order, but never as the state's subject. Never as the subject of the state. Amase, we declare that no government in the past, or in the present, or even in the future, may extinguish the sovereignty of the First Nation. For our law, our identity, and our right predates and outlives them all. Amasa, this declaration is not only addressed to the state, but to all people. To all peoples. So to South Africans, that you may know, the First Nation of your country still stands. We are here. We are not extinct. We are here. To Africa. To Africa. To Africa. To the continent of Africa. That the Khoisan nation is the root of this continent's southern heritage. We are the root. Amasa. And to the world, to the whole world, that the Khoisan nation is a free people. We are a free people. And we are asserting our nationhood under our law. Under law, in history, and in truth. So we proclaim the Khoisan nation is free. We proclaim that the Khoisan nation is free. Amasa. We proclaim that the Khoisan nation is sovereign. Amasa. Amasa. We proclaim that the Khoisan nation is alive. Amasa. Our law is the first law. And our people are the First Nation. Thank you.
These guys must respond. 1 minute. No, make the demand.
I'm going to read the Memorandum of Demands. That was the declaration. Now these are the demands that we are making to the state. We the Khoisan people, the first indigenous people of South Africa, march today to declare our freedom and to call upon the state to fulfill its constitutional and international obligations. This memorandum is not a plea for recognition. It is an assertion of our rights. It is already affirmed by the Constitution, the jurisprudence of the Constitutional Court, and the binding instruments of international law. The Khoisan are the Aboriginal people of South and Southern Africa, whose occupation and sovereignty over this land predates all colonial and subsequent settlements. The apartheid legal order deliberately created the legal fiction of colored to erase Khoisan identity and to reduce our people to strangers in our own land, and to dispossess us of our heritage and our dignity. The Population Registration Act of 1950 and the related legislation created these legal racial categories to enforce crimes against humanity. The repeal of the apartheid laws in 1991 abolished the colored classification in law by F.W. de Klerk, who was the president at the time. So by default, the Khoi and San descendants reverted to their original identity. The Constitutional Court in Alexco Limited and the Government of the Republic of South Africa versus the Richtersveld Community 2003 held that indigenous title survives conquest and the customary law must be recognized as a living system of law. For 31 years, the democratic government has failed to uphold the Constitution in respect of the Khoi and San. And this government has then perpetuated the very same injustices that the Constitution was adopted to remedy. The Traditional and Khoisan Leadership Act 2019, abbreviated as the TKLA, signed into law by the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, entrenches further marginalization of the Khoi and San, reducing us to subjects of the state. rather than recognizing our inherent sovereignty. Section 211, subsection 3 of the Constitution says, the courts must apply customary law when their law is applicable.
They must. They must.
Must, not may. They must apply it. Subject to the Constitution and any legislation that specifically deals with customary law. Section 39(1), subsection 1, Section 39, subsection 1, subsection B says when interpreting the Bill of Rights, the courts must consider international law. The preamble of the Constitution says that it recognizes the injustices of the past, our past, and commits to healing the divisions of the past and establishing a society that is based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. Justice Law in 2003 confirmed that indigenous customary law is part of South Africa's legal system and that dispossession of indigenous land without our consent or compensation was unlawful. The Constitutional Court in Bear versus the Magistrate of Khayelitsha in 2005 said, and it affirmed the recognition and enforceability of customary law under this Constitution. In the United Nations on the Rights of Indigenous People, Article 1 says indigenous people have the right to self-determination. Article 26, indigenous people have the right to the lands, territories, and resources which they have traditionally owned, occupied, or otherwise used. Article 27 says the states must establish fair and transparent processes to recognize and adjudicate indigenous land rights. Now in the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Article 20 says all people have the right to existence. We have the right to exist, to self-determination, and to freely pursue our economic and social development. The South African Human Rights Commission said and has issued findings and recommendations affirming the rights of the Khoi and San. These reports remain unimplemented by this government, and they are in breach of constitutional and international obligations. By repealing the apartheid laws, the state itself restored Khoisan identity. Any continued classification of Khoisan descendants as colored is unconstitutional and is unlawful. The Richtersveld judgment confirms that Khoisan customary law and rights have survived colonization. They survived apartheid and post-apartheid marginalization. The state is therefore in contempt of its own constitutional court jurisprudence. The TKLA violates Section 211 of the Constitution by reducing Khoisan customary authority to a state-managed system instead of recognizing its independent survival. By failing to implement the South African Human Rights Commission findings and international standards, the state is in breach of Section 39(1)(b) and its obligations under the United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples and the African Charter. The systemic exclusion of the Khoi and San from BEE and triple BEE frameworks constitutes an ongoing discrimination. Inclusion on the basis of our own customary law, institutions and authority, not through state-defined proxies.
Last page.
Last sentence.
Last page.
The demand. We demand the state to recognize the Khoi and San as the first indigenous people of South Africa with immediate effect. We demand the state to immediately revoke the TKLA in its current form, save only for the recognition clauses, which must be retained and strengthened. We demand the state to implement the South African Human Rights Commission report without delay as binding guidance on government obligations. We demand the state to guarantee free, prior and informed consent, FPIC, in all benefit sharing agreements and payouts involving land, resources and the development affecting Khoi and San communities. We demand the state to incorporate the Khoi San distinctly into BEE and triple BEE frameworks in accordance with our own customary law structures, ensuring direct participation and benefit. We demand the state to devolve lawmaking power to include Khoi San representation at all levels of state, national, provincial and local. Amase, in accordance with the Constitution and international law. And this is important, this requires no constitutional amendment, only compliance with what is already there. We demand the state to restore Khoi San land rights under the principles affirmed in Richtersveld with immediate legislative and policy reform to ensure restitution. We demand the state to cease all practices, legal, political, or economic, that continue the apartheid legacy of trickery, erasure, and dispossession. For 31 years, the post-apartheid government, this government, has continued crimes against humanity, against the Khoi San, by denying recognition of our identity. For 31 years, the post-apartheid government has continued crimes against humanity, against the Khoi San, by denying recognition of our identity, by blocking our access to land and resources, by excluding us from national benefit sharing framework, and capturing state instruments to suppress our rights. This March for Freedom, this is called the National Khoi San March for Freedom, the march. So therefore, this March for Freedom is therefore both a declaration and an indictment. We demand immediate compliance with the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. We demand with immediate compliance with the jurisprudence of the Constitutional Court, and we demand immediate compliance with South Africa's international law obligations. We declare we are free. We declare we are free. We are free. We declare that we are free. And we demand
We are free.
that the state honor when we declare that we are free. Not tomorrow, not in principle, but immediately, in law, and in fact. Thank you.
I have to admit that every time when the First Nation gets together, there is this belief, there's a level of expectation that it will be the last time. But it is clear that the struggle is not over. I hear so many people talking about expropriation of land. And that statement excludes the First Nation and the intent thereof. I'm going to make a statement and I'm going to ask you a question in conclusion. Picture this. There is a child and the child's father dies. Hear me nicely. The child's father dies and the child is around 2-3 years old. And you always have that uncle who comes there and he says, it's my brother that died, so I'm going to take his watch because this child can't even tell time. What is the child going to do with the watch? Then that uncle, normally that drunk uncle, then he takes the watch and he leaves. Now this child is no longer 3 or 4 years old. This child now is grown. And the child finds out that my uncle has got my father's watch. Do you believe it is right for the child who is now a grown child to claim that watch and say, that's my father's watch. I want my father's watch. It is therefore that I believe that the First Nation has got the right to say, we claim our land back. Because this land belonged to our fathers and forefathers. We are now grown enough to stand the test of time. We are now grown enough to continue the fight. And we are grown enough to claim what is rightfully ours. Like you agreed that that watch is rightfully the child's watch. Rightfully the land is yours. Now who on earth are the other people coming to say they want to expropriate land and they're excluding the First Nation? They must come and speak to the First Nation if they want to expropriate land. You cannot expropriate land from anything or from anybody and the land doesn't belong to them. You are talking to the wrong people. The right people is here that must be spoken to. I want to conclude by saying, don't stop this fight. I am glad and I'm honored and I'm humbled to be here with my colleague, Honorable Douglas, to accept what is going to be handed to us. And I want to say that I heard a speaker say this is not political, and it's correct. We are from different organizations. What we believe, what is right. We are lawmakers. So we need to know what the law must say, which the law is currently silent on. And it is our duty, colleague, to ensure that hand in hand, and anybody else who wants to join in ensuring that we get what is deserved.
Nothing. Sure, I would do ownership.